what do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games. The idea of the social credit is to monetize everything, to give value to every single thing you do in life. It has positive potential in some regards. Most people will be willing to give up their privacy in exchange for much better healthcare based on 24 hours monitoring of what's happening inside their bodies. This is the end of human history. Not the end of history, the end of human-dominated history. History will continue with somebody else in control. AI can even write a new Bible. All the other books of the other religions, humans wrote them. But our book, no. It came from some superhuman intelligence. Human rights are just like heaven and like God. It's just a fictional story. Companies like Apple and Google will have tons and tons of data on your body, on your most private affairs and conditions. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. In order to collaborate on a large scale, you need to convince everybody to believe in the same story. The engine of history is stories. And they don't even need to be true.
Shalom. Your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here in Trinidad with another edification through the power and spirit of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. Okay, so first and foremost, Kal Halayim La Alahaya Nawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Salutation unto the brothers who preaching and teaching us truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to do so no more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat. The fruits of the Spirit versus the fruits of the righteous. There's where it is here. Alright, the fruits of the Spirit versus the fruits of the righteous. Alright? This is what we are witnessing here in these last days. You know, this is what we are witnessing here. The fruits of the wicked, alright, versus the fruits of the righteous. You know, as I'm speaking on that, bear with me. Let's take a look at Galatians chapter 5. Not that. Galatians chapter 5 and 23. Yeah. Just now, bear with me. Let's take a look first to what I have about Shemi Shai if I haven't commented the scripture here. Alright, so let's start from verse 19. So we will get the essence of what this edification is actually going into. Alright, I pray you all be edified. So Galatians 5 and 19, where it reads, now the works of the flesh are manifests, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revellings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. Alright, and these are the fruits of the wicked. Alright, these are the fruits of the wicked. And who does the scripture signify, who does the scripture plainly says are the wicked? Alright, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And all this here is actually the workings, which I have read from 19, verse 19 to 21, is actually the workings of Esau, Edom, is actually what Esau, Edom brings forth, and spreads throughout the four corners of the earth. Alright, because Esau, he's all about the flesh. He's not of the spirit. He was never created to be of the spirit. Alright, he was created to be unclean. He was created to be crooked. Okay, so with that, they would not have a ounce of righteousness, alright, within this man, especially the elites, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and what have you, so forth. The list goes on and on. Okay, there is what it is. This is what describes them to perfection. Alright, verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. Alright? If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another. Alright, so as you could see there, pursuant to what is the fruits of the Spirit. Alright, and there's other things that you could add into it, which actually is not really, when I say add into it, how to put it, boy, that goes with it, I would say, that goes along with it, which actually this list here, this list here, it solidifies. When I say goes into it, goes with along with it, pursuant to the laws, statutes, and commandments, because this is actually, everything here pursuant to verse 22, on downwards to verse 22 and verse 23. All right, it's actually, it's things that is actually contained in the law. Alright, there is what it is here, but Esau, he does not has that up within him, because why? He is not of the righteous. Alright, the Most High created one unto honor and the other unto dishonor. That's what it is. So it's obvious the one that was created unto dishonor, he would have the spirit of the wicked. Alright, now as you could see in that clip there that I had played at the beginning of the edification, alright, these things that you heard Yuval Noah Harari spoke of, alright, and what are their intentions and what have you, so forth, is actually their works, their fruits, their works and their fruits speaking for themselves as into who they truly are. Alright, and what they desire, a world that they desire that they call, that they see as their form of righteousness, I would say, in the sense of, this is how the world should be, perfection, their way of perfection, alright, which is actually wickedness. Alright, as you heard them speak of, the population of the world, hacking of the human body, alright, constant surveillance, these things, whatnot, so forth, social credit score system, and all these things, gathering the data of every man, woman, and child upon the face of the earth, and all these things, surveillance systems, all these things. These things are the attributes pursuant to the fruits of the wicked. You understand? This is what it is here. This is this is the serpent. Yeah, this is the serpent that was in the garden from back then that is here now. All right? Because from the beginning, as Elder Yashawamba perfectly said last night, I was taking in his edification, his live edification. All right? At the beginning of time, all right, the serpent nation, all right, they were always against Yahweh. All right, they were always contrary towards Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and his order. All right. As he rightfully said, when you go, let's take a look at Genesis chapter 3. All right, Genesis chapter 3. And 1, it reads, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. All right. And this serpent, I think the word there for that is Nakash. Let's just go to it quick. Yep, it's Nakash.
Strong's H 5175. Nachash.
All right. Let me see some of the etymology there. Right, so it was not, this is why I want to come to the etymology here, because it was not a literal serpent. Let's just get that out of the way quick. All right, it was not a literal serpent. All right, this is showing it that it was a man. All right, a race of people. All right, it says to practice divination. All right, divine, observe times, learn by experience, diligently observe, practice fortune telling, to take as an omen, to practice divination, all right, which was basically witchcraft. All right, witchcraft. So this is what it is here. All right, so it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, all right, which the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath Yahweh said that ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. All right. So just as Yashawamba said, as he rightfully said, these Edomites, they profess themselves to be atheists and what have you. So for these elites, I want to say, these elites, they profess themselves to be atheists and what have you, so forth, but they know solely and truly, all right, that there is a higher power, all right, that there is a God, there is a higher power, there is a supreme being, all right. And just even at that time, all right, in the days of old, the serpent nation, they know that there is a power, all right. They know that there is a supreme being. Hence the reason, all right, why, and the reason pursuant to the question, pursuant to the question that the serpent had asked Eve, all right, that just proved this question that he asked Eve, all right, and he said unto the woman, yea, hath Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden, all right. That just proved that he knew, they knew, all right. But this is the thing here. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh had said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. All right. So what? Let's go to that word fruit. All right. Let's go to that word fruit. Let's go to that word fruit.
Strong's H 6529. Peri.
All right. It says peri. All right. It says what? Fruit. Fruit produce of the ground. Fruit offspring children. Progeny of the womb. Fruit. All right. When I come down to the last one, fruit. All right. Figuratively of actions. All right, of actions. This is what it is here, because it was not a literal fruit. All right, as we went into the word serpent there, with and we went into the etymology. It was showing of what was it breaking down. I'm gonna take my time here. What was it breaking down? It was breaking down. The breakdown was pursuant to that word serpent there in the etymology. It was speaking of divination, fortune telling, witchcraft, basically witchcraft. So the fruits of the serpent, the fruit of the wicked, is actually witchcraft, divination. All right, this is what it is. It's actually rebellion towards the Most High. All right, plain out. It's actually rebellion towards the Most High. Now, when I go to the etymology, all right, it says to bear fruit, be fruitful, to bear fruit. All right, to cause to bear fruit, to show fruitfulness, bear fruit. No, not this one I wanted. Salakia was another word, but anyhow, but we got the point there. All right, we got the point there. So we see in here, all right, pursuant to Genesis chapter 3, all right, and verse 1 to 3, all right, we see in the fruits of this man, and their deception, their witchcraft, and what have you, so forth. Also, most importantly, the acknowledgement that there is a supreme being. You understand? But more so, yes, they acknowledge, they know that there is a supreme being, but what? They are all rebellious towards that supreme being, which is the Most High Yahweh. Now, when I go down to verse 4, it says, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. All right? So, we see in the deception there. All right? We see in the deception there. He's telling her that what? She shall not die. All right? As long as, she shall not die, the Most High, he don't want you to have the true knowledge, all right, true knowledge, true wisdom, true understanding, which was basically witchcraft. He was all right. So we see in his high level of deception that he brought upon Eve, and his high level of rebellion that he is going up against Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And is the same thing, all right, never changed, because the serpent nation, they reincarnated into Cain, all right, as if you could get it, as if you could receive it, all right, and Cain reincarnated into Esau, and the same fruits of the same fruit of wickedness that was within the serpent nation is the same fruits of wickedness within Esau, Edom here today. And the same way how they had deceived Eve is the same way they are bringing forth their deception upon the whole entire earth. You understand? This is what it is here. This is what it is here. All right. Now there's a word, I think is eat was the word that I wanted was to get. All right. Excuse the background there, on the plantation. I know how it is go. All right. So let's go to that word eat. All right.
Strong's H398. Achel.
Alright, so when I go to that word eat, it says to devour, to eat, devour, burn up, feed, to eat. Alright, to devour, slay of sword, to devour, consume. Okay, there's what it is here. Alright, but devoured what? What was Eve devouring? Eve was devouring, alright, basically to learn witchcraft, because that really what was the serpent bringing forth to Eve. Alright, he was actually teaching her the ways of high level witchcraft. You understand? There's what it is here. And this is what they're bringing forth throughout the four corners of the earth. This is what they have been bringing forth throughout the four corners of the earth. You know, when they go on a research, they go on and do a research on the Grecians and the Romans and what have you, so forth. They were dealing up with high level witchcraft, high level sorcery. You understand? Even all the other nations before them, all the other empires before them and whatnot, so forth, before they became a great empire, starting with the Grecians, alright, they were, all these heathen nations was dealing up with high level witchcraft and what have you, so forth. But the difference between Esau and these other nations is that Esau perfected it. Alright, Esau had perfected it. There's what it is. Yeah, Esau, Edom had perfected these things. Alright, so when you take a look at certain, like for instance, okay, let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalm 73. Alright, let's take a look at Psalm 73, and I will start at verse 3. Alright, because this here, along with Psalms 52 that I will go at, will show, you know, and give proper understanding pursuant to the fruits of the wicked. Alright, so it says Psalm 73 and 1, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Alright, the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bonds in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, because why? They are the ruling class. They are the one that is bringing all the trouble. Alright, they are the ones that causing all the mishaps, you know, in the world and what have you, so forth. Neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them. Alright, first instance, pursuant to the fruits of the wicked, pride. Alright, that's one of the fruits of the wicked. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Another fruit of the wicked, pride, violence. Okay, their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than the heart could wish. Greed. Alright, greed. Okay, these are the things that is opposite, that is contrary to the laws and the ways of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai, the fruits, the works of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. You know, these are perfect examples of where the fruits of the Spirit is contrary towards. Alright, pursuant to the fruits of the wicked. It says, they set their mouth against, Salakia. Verse 8, they are corrupt and speak wickedly. Yeah, they are corrupt and speak wickedly. Concerning oppression, they speak what? Loftily. Alright, another attribute, right? Pursuant to verse 8, pursuant to the fruits of the wicked. Alright, they are corrupt and speak wickedly. Concerning oppression, they speak loftily. Alright, so they are always on the oppressive end. Alright, they are and they could care less of whose neck their feet stamps upon. Alright, they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. And they say, how doth Yahweh know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Alright, they're blasphemous words. Alright, again, their rebelliousness towards the Most High. Fruits of the wicked. Alright, fruits of the wicked. It says, behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world, they increase in riches. Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocency. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me, until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh. Then understood I their end. You understand? Not until we come into the sanctuary of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshai, then we come to the true understanding of who is the wicked, alright, and what will the wicked be doing? What will be their fruits? You know, because your fruits identify who you are, you know. Okay? Your fruits identify who you are. That is what it is. Because when you go to, let's take a look at James. Let's take a look at James. James chapter 3 and verse 17. James chapter 3 and verse 17, where it reads, but the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, fruits of the Spirit, all right, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, all right, and good fruits, okay, without partiality and without hypocrisy. But Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the elites, especially the elites, mainly the elites, they are totally contrary towards this here. All right, because this is the works of the Spirit. This is the works pursuant to the fruits of the Spirit. All right, and it's only the righteous will have that, being Jacob. All right, it says, and the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. But what does this man, all right, this man is only up, this man, his soul life journey, expectations, doing works is all of bringing death. All right, it's all about bringing death, misery, chaos, mayhem. All right, these are the fruits of the what? Of the wicked. You understand? This is what it is here. When you take a look at the book of Proverbs. Come on. It's not Proverbs, not Psalms, Salakia. Psalms 52. And I will start from verse 1. Psalms 52 and 1, to the chief musician Mashkel, a psalm of David, when Doeg the Edomite came and told Saul and said unto him, David is come to the house of Ahimelech. It reads, why boastest thou thyself in mischief? All right, in mischief. Let's go to that word mischief. Look, it's up here, mischief.
Strong's H 4905. Maskil.
Yes, no, did I get? No. That was Salakia. Just no, right. This is the word, Salakia.
Strong's H 7451. Ra. And second entry, Ra. And third entry, Ra'ah.
Right, right. So you got the words there. All right. It says what? Bad, evil, bad, disagreeable, malignant, bad, unpleasant, evil. All right. So this is what this is. All right. Bad, evil, wicked, ethically, in general, of persons, of thoughts, deeds, actions, their fruits. All right, your fruits. You understand? This is what it is. This is what it is. Okay? Coming out of that, let's go back to the scripture. So it says, why boastest thou thyself in mischief? And this is what this is. You heard the proud words of Yuval Noah Hariri in the clip that I just played. Alright? O mighty man. Alright? The goodness of Yahweh enjoyed continually. Thy tongue deviseth mischief, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Okay? Working deceitfully. Alright? Because, hey, they are working 24/7, 365, alright, to bring about their beast system and what have you, so forth. You know? To have the people in a total dystopian nightmare, you know. And the thing about it is they are doing it in a very cunning way. Again, remember, the serpent was more subtle than any other beast, which was all the other nations upon the face of the earth. Alright? He was very cunning. And this is how this man is. Alright? You listen to them speak. And the way how they advertise their new world order. Alright? Hey, the ones who are not in the spirit, they will be in awe, and they will be in total agreement, in agreement and acceptance. You understand? It says, thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Salah. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. Yahweh shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. Selah. Alright? Because what the scripture say, I'll come back to this. Let me go to Matthew. Matthew 7. And I will start at verse 15. Matthew 7 and 15. It reads what? And there's a reason why I'm starting at verse 15. It reads what? Beware of false prophets. Alright? Esau Edom is a false prophet. Just as how it's a false prophet within Jake, or all these Christian pastors who are all these pastors, these Christian pastors who are, all of them, they are false prophets. But hey, the elites, alright, the elites that be, they are also false prophets too. Alright? Because hey, they are prophesying their future pursuant to how they want the world to be. And when they come out and they speak, you know, like the World Economic Forum and whatnot, so forth, you know, and the G8 Summit and whatnot, you know, and this and that and the other, and they speak pursuant to the intentions that they have, you know, in the directions they want the world to go at. That's them prophesying. Alright, that's them prophesying. Alright? But hey, their prophecies will not be fulfilled. Alright? Yahweh Ba'ashem will destroy as he said, he will destroy the devices of the wicked and, you know, and the enterprise and whatnot, so forth. That's roughly paraphrasing. So it says, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing. Alright? But inwardly they are what? They are ravening wolves. Alright, the scripture talk about be sober, be vigilant, because the devil, you know, like come like a roaring lion, you know, spear, you know, to devour. That's roughly paraphrasing. I believe that's how it goes. Like 1 Peter 5 and 18. I'll get that in a bit. It says, ye shall know them by their fruits. Alright? And this is the thing, yeah, this is the clues. This is the clues, yeah, brother. This is the clues that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you know, is given towards the elect. Because the scripture say, if it were possible, they would have deceived the very elect. But the elect cannot be deceived, because why? The elect have the eyesight to see, you know, to see and understand the ways of the wicked and the cunningness of the wicked and how they will come about with their cunningery. You understand? So it says, you shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit. All right, which is good work. Okay, this goes into good work, and not literally speaking of a literal fruit. No, it's speaking of your works. All right, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit, and this is Esau. All right, a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. So when you go back to what was, all right, Psalms 52 and 5, where it reads, Yahweh shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place, and root thee out of the land of the living. All right, Salah. All right, the righteous also shall see and fear and shall laugh at him. Lo, this is the man that made not Yahweh his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches. All right, because this is a man of the flesh. This is the whole thing. This is the whole thing here. Esau Edom is a man of the flesh. All right, and strengthen himself in his what? In his wickedness. Because his works is all about wickedness. All right, but I am like a green olive tree in the house of Yahweh. All right, I trust in the mercy of Yahweh forever and ever. I will praise thee forever, because thou hast done it, and I will wait on thy name, for it is good before thy saints. And this is the fruits of the Spirit here, the fruits of the righteous. This is what the righteous will do. The righteous will praise Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. The righteous will stay away from evil and will hate the evil. All right, the righteous will do according to the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, because why? This is the works of the righteous, the fruits of the righteous. You understand? There is what it is here. Yeah? There is what it is here. Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs 24 and 1. Alright, Proverbs 24 and 1. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them, for their heart studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Right? True wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. All right. This, as you can see, the first two verses there, it addresses the fruits of the wicked. All right, and verse 3 and verse 4, even going on to verse 5, but I don't necessarily need to go there, for time's sake. It speaks, you see the differentiation there. All right, pursuant to the fruits of the righteous. All right, there is what it is. Let's take a look at Proverbs 11 and 5. All right, where it reads what? The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way. All right, the righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. Yeah, the righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but transgressors, right, shall be taken in their own naughtiness. When a wicked man dieth, his expectation shall perish, and the hope of the unjust man perisheth. Perfect examples. Perfect examples. That's why when I go to, after I go to here, that's why when I go to Sirach, I'll go straight to the point. A matter of fact, something, I will read from the top. Sirach chapter 10 and 1. Alright, Sirach 10 and 1, it reads, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is what? Is well ordered. But as you could see, this man is totally different, contrary to pursuant to the scripture here. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. All right? So this man is in rulership. All right? He is in rulership, but the thing about it is he is ruling in wickedness. All right? And all that is under him, all that is subject unto him, all right? Like, for instance, your Trump and your Emmanuel Macron and what have you, so forth, and the likes of such, you know, they are just as the same. They are no different from the elites, the powers that be. All right? It says, an unwise king destroyed his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. All right? Because why? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked at this time. All right? But the thing is, the time of the wicked, the triumphant of the wicked is short. Okay? And the Lord is going to bring the earth in due time, in its due course, all right, into a righteous management. All right? Into a management that is going to be well ordered by the way of righteousness. You understand? This is what it is here. Yeah? Because you see, we are under a rulership. We are under a rulership where the rulers that be, they all go by the way of wicked. They all rule with a knowledge of wickedness. All right? With a high level knowledge of wickedness. All right? They refuse to use the rulership that they have right now, you know, to bring the earth in proper guidance. You understand? That's why the whole world is out of course. All right? Because unfit rulers is ruling. There's what it is. Okay? That's why when I go to Sirach 19:22, a scripture that I just go to from time to time, it says what? Sirach 19:22, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. You understand? Because this is how they are ruling. They are ruling by a vast wealth of knowledge by the way of wickedness, by the way of witchcraft. This is what it is. This is what it is with these people, man. Yeah? Sirach, staying in the book of Sirach, Sirach 24. Sirach 24 and 19. Sirach 24 and 19. Come unto me, all ye that be desirous of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits. All right? Which is what? The works of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. The true understanding. All right? The true understanding of righteousness. The true understanding of the proper way to live within Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. For my memorial is sweeter than honey, and mine inheritance than the honeycomb. They that eat me yet be hungry, and they that drink me yet be thirsty. He that obeyed me shall never be confounded, and they that work by me shall not be what? Shall not do amiss. All right? So, this is what it is here, pursuant to the fruits of the Spirit. This is what Esau Edom could never attain. This is something that Esau Edom could never ever attain. Never in our life, never in his lifetime. Never ever in his lifetime. All right. I will stay here in this up here. All right. Philippians, not Philemon. All right. Philippians 1 and 11. It reads, yes, no. All right, I'll start from verse 8, a little bit better context. Philippians 1 and 8, it reads, for Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua is my record, how greatly I long after you all in the bowels of Yahushua Mashiach, and this I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment. Again, attributes pursuant to the fruits of the Spirit, that ye may approve things that are excellent, that ye may be sincere and without offense till the day of a Mashiach, being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Yahushua Mashiach unto the glory and praise of Yahweh. You understand? This Esau Edom could never attain this. This is totally far from Esau Edom. Alright? This is something that is totally far from the so-called white man, from the elites that be. Alright, this is 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 10. 2 Corinthians 9 and 10. That's now. Yep. I'll go straight to the point. Let's read straight to the point here. 2 Corinthians 9 and 10, it reads, now he that ministereth seed to the sower, all right, he that ministereth seed to the sower, both minister bread for your food, all right, and multiply your seed sown, and increases the fruit of your righteousness. What Esau sows? Esau sows to the flesh. All right? The so-called white man, he sows to the flesh. So that's why the scriptures say, that's Galatians, oh Lord. That's Galatians, I can't remember how to, I don't want to butcher it. He that he that soweth to the flesh shall reap of the flesh. Like Galatians 6 and 7. Alright, Galatians, let's go to that. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to the book of Galatians. Where the hell are going? You're going too far now, Biggs. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. It reads what? Be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also what? That shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting life. Esau Edom, he never reaped. He never sowed according to the Spirit. He sowed according to the flesh. Hey, you know something? Let me go to that scripture in the blue letter. Alright. And let's read it in the NLT. Let's see what the NLT has to say. 2 Corinthians 9 and 10, where it reads, 2 Corinthians 9:10 NLT, for Yahweh is the one who provides seed for the farmer, and then bread to eat. In the same way, he will provide and increase your resources, and then produce a great harvest of generosity in you, all right, which is righteousness in you. But he's not dealing on that level with Esau, all right, because why? He made Esau unto what? Unto dishonor, all right. Just plain and simple, layman's terms. All right, so this will be the last scripture, all right, because I'm about to finish my shift here on the plantation, which will go back to Psalms 92. Psalms 92 and verse 6 and 7. Alright. Psalms 92 and 6, it says what? A brutish man knoweth not. Alright, and who is that brutish man? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, alright, just as fruits, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall what? that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord, art most high forevermore. Alright? So their time is at an end. Their time is at an end. But at the same time, prophecies have to be fulfilled. So they have to go about, letting they have to go about planting their seeds so that their fruits may spring forth, alright, which is evil fruits, evil works, that their wickedness will reach to the heavens, where Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to cut them down. Alright? Soon we will see them no more again. This is what it is. So, hey, I hope you always edified through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Hey, what's the time? 1:44:17 by? Alright, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Alright, your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp, signing out, saying, Kal Halayam, La Alahayanawa Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Makah Kodash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. Double honors unto the apostles, the elders, the bishops of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom unto the brothers who preaching and teaching the truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives on the freedom to do so no more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Aqua. A brother Kahans saying shalom, shalom, shalom.